Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast Network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
Ozcast.
Welcome back to another episode of Just Podding Around, the podcast that hits harder than a Young Bucks Superkick party and leaves you more rattled than a Vince Russo booking sheet. I'm your host, Race, and today we are cracking open Pandora's wrestling crate because we're talking about the greatest feuds that never got finished and some that never even got started. You know, these rivalries that started strong, had potential for all-time greatness, and then, for whatever reason, creative dropped the ball harder than Sid Vicious off the top rope. Some of these still sting to this day. Some are so obvious that it feels like the wrestling gods themselves got distracted and forgot to book them. So grab your beverage of choice and let's get into the feuds that we never got closure on. Let's start with the heavy hitters. These are the feuds even your casual mate who only watches the Rumble Mania knows should have happened. First up, we'll get CM Punk versus Triple H / The Authority. I'll never get this one. It's 2011. Punk drops a pipe bomb. That promo where he basically called out the entire company broke kayfabe and somehow didn't get tackled by security mid-sentence. He wins the title off Cena, leaves the company for one whole week with the belt like his prime 90s Shane Douglas, comes back, holds the title for 434 days. And while that's happening, you've got the Authority forming. Triple H stepping back into the smug suit and tie role, pissing people off on screen, and probably off screen too. The tension was perfect. There's an organic, anti-establishment versus corporate machine story right there. And what did he get? A weird Night of Champions match in 2011 that no one remembers. A backstage segment here and there, and then nothing. Fast forward to 2014, Royal Rumble season. Punk's cooked, his body's battered, and he leaves before Mania. The original rumoured plan was Punk versus Triple H at Mania 30. And if that feud got time, proper storytelling, and some creative freedom, it could have been a top 5 modern WWE storyline. Instead, we got Batista in skinny jeans. Still mad about that one. Next up, we got Sting versus The Undertaker. This is a missed opportunity of modern wrestling. The second Sting walked away out of TNA and into WWE in 2014, every single person alive thought it's finally happening. Two supernatural icons, the Dark Knight of WWE versus the Vigilante of WCW. The entrances alone would have been worth the price of admission. You got Taker rising from the ground while a million torches lit like the medieval funeral. Sting slowly descending from the rafters, baseball bat in hand, crow sounds everywhere, everyone collectively losing their minds. And what did we get at WrestleMania 31? Sting versus Triple H, and Triple H wins, with DX and the NWO getting involved for nostalgia points, in a match that felt like someone's WWE 2K15 fantasy booking after a couple of drinks. Meanwhile, The Undertaker faced Bray Wyatt in a match no one remembers. Absolute robbery. That match should have headlined WrestleMania 31. Even if it was two blokes pushing 50, moving like your dad chasing a lawnmower. It would have been magic. Next up, we got the Nexus versus the WWE locker room. I'll die on this hill. 2010, Nexus debuts and destroys everything. They jump Cena, rip apart the ring, assault announcers, strangle Justin Roberts with a tie. It was chaotic, violent, felt real. Like the Attitude Era had just ghosted back into the building. And for once, we had a faction of fresh talent led by Wade Barrett who could talk, who could wrestle, and had legitimate heat. They spent weeks decimating the roster. It was building to something huge. And then we got SummerSlam 2010. And John Cena, after being DDT'd onto exposed concrete, does his Hulk Up special, pins Barrett clean, and buries the entire group in one night. Supposedly against the original plan too. And man, did he get heat from everyone backstage. They never recovered. Barrett could have been a Monster Hill champ. Heath Slater deserved a comedy push. Justin Gabriel could have been the mid-card flippy guy before Ricochet was a thing. But no, one night killed it all. Cheers, John. Alright, now for the deep cuts. The if you know feuds. First up, we got Elijah Burke versus CM Punk. ECW and Sci-Fi was a fever dream, but it gave us a hidden gem feud. Elijah Burke versus CM Punk. Burke had the look, charisma, and a decent right hand. Him and Punk had some solid matches, and if WWE had invested in Burke, he could have been a mid-card MVP in the 2007-08 era. Instead, they sent him to TNA where he became the Pope and cut decent promos for 12 people. Next up, we've got Mordecai versus The Undertaker. Remember Mordecai? If not, imagine a goth priest dipped in whiteout. Debuted in 2004, cutting these weird medieval vignettes, preaching fire and brimstone with an oversized cross. He was meant to be The Undertaker's next big rival. Gothic versus Gothic. Heaven's Wrath versus Hell's Gate. Problem was, Kevin Thorne, bless him, wasn't exactly setting the world on fire in the ring. Crowd didn't buy it. He lasted 3 matches before being quietly released. But I still would have watched the hell out of that match. Next up is Goldberg versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. This one's criminal. 2 of the hottest acts in the late 90s, Goldberg destroying everyone in WCW, Austin flipping off authority figures, and drinking more beer than a suburban Adelaide footy club. They were both in WWE by 2003, teased it once in a backstage segment, never pulled the trigger. Could have been the Battle of the Spears versus Stunners. Bull Bloke versus Bull Bloke. Crowd would have exploded. Missed it by that much. Next up, we got AJ Styles versus Shawn Michaels. AJ pitched it for WrestleMania 33. Fans begged for it, and Shawn, bless his old school heart, turned it down. Didn't want to ruin his perfect retirement at WrestleMania 26. But could you imagine? 50-something Shawn Michaels still moves better than half the roster. AJ was in his absolute prime. This match could have been a certified 5-star classic. Still not over it. Next up, we've got the fantasy booking. Right, time for my If I Was Holding the Pencil segment. Here's how I'd book these properly. Punk versus Triple H. Punk wins the 2014 Rumble, goes full anti-authority, faces Hunter at Mania, no shenanigans, no screw jobs, GDS in the middle. Punk then gets added to the Mania 30 main event, turning it into a fatal 4-way with Bryan, Orton and Batista. Punk puts Bryan over in the end, has a mega babyface run through the summer, drops another pipe bomb, and you print money. Next up is the Sting vs Taker match. Mania 31. Lights out, crows calling, Sting drops from the rafters, Taker rises from the ground, epic stare down. Match is 6 minutes of slow strikes, taunts, a couple of table spots, and maybe a double tombstone reversal spot just for the memes. Taker wins, they shake hands, mutual respect, Sting retires proper. Next we got the Nexus storyline. SummerSlam 2010. Nexus wins clean. Cena passes out in a Barrett hammerlock or something. Wade Barrett beats Orton for the belt at Survivor Series, keeps it until Mania. breaks the group into Barrett's Empire and a Feuds Rebellion faction. Barrett stays at Top Hill for years. Would have a Hall of Famer today if they did that. And there you go. The wrestling feuds that never finished, the matches we never got, and the storylines that we still fantasy booking on Twitter when we should be sleeping. Some of these could have changed careers. Some would have been hot garbage, but all of them, they had potential. Next week, we're diving into the next episode, we'll divide into the most underrated wrestling gimmicks of all time. I'm talking Mordecai, Waylon Mercy, and even the Gobbledygooker, if I'm feeling up to it. So follow the podcast, drop a 5-star rating, send this episode to your mate who still thinks Cena was right to beat Nexus. And always, stay safe and keep podding around. Catch you next time.
Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast Network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast. Ozcast. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.